Okay, now there might be one going on YouTube that's not the other link. It doesn't seem like it could go to the other link. You see it?
Let me see if I can.
Yeah,
Yeah, there is one live.
let's just use that one. Can we paste? And I'll try to paste it into the chat of the other one.
Yeah, and there's no description on it or anything.
I'll put that in there right now.
So we'll use the updated link.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
The chat's rolling in. YouTube's connected. Everyone in the old YouTube's got the other link. Show description's ready to roll. We are back.
Perfect. We are back. Hello, GM, and welcome to the inaugural episode from the Daily Edge. The show is called Edge Maxing, and this episode is called Catching a Falling Knife. I am one of your co-hosts. My name is ZeroX Rapture, with my good friend Onchain Wizard. And we're a couple of on-chain degens who like to maximize edge wherever we can gain it. We talk shitcoins, trends, workflow, tooling, and more stories from our personal experiences and combined years of operating in the crypto trenches. Our motto is move fast, break things, and iterate on the fly. Speaking of which, a little bit of a rough start, but you know what? We sharpen quickly, and it's only going to get better from here. This is our edge. And quick shout out, this episode is brought to you by ChainEDGE, the #1 tool for tracking on-chain flows and smart money data of the top 0.01% of profitable DEX traders, helping you stay ahead of trends and maximizing your edge. You can check us out at chainedge.io or at chainedge_io on Twitter. The Daily Edge can be found at @theDailyEdge_ or thedailyedge.com. And my friend Onchain Wizard is at Onchain Wizard, and I am at Night the Rapture. GM, friend.
GM. Beautiful, beautiful intro.
Amazing. And how you feeling today?
Feeling good. Meme coins are pumping.
They certainly are. They certainly are. I mean, the overall market sentiment feeling pretty good with Bitcoin and ETH like pumping nicely. Let's take a look here. Let me take a look at the recent charts. I mean, holding on to all that advance that they've had recently. Things looking good.
We are back.
We are back. About time. Feels like what a crazy, not even year and a half it's been, but since all the drama of last year ago November to now be here, it feels a little surreal.
It is surreal.
Did you think, after everything that we went through with FTX, that we'd actually be this close to all-time highs on Bitcoin a little over a year later?
No chance. I don't think anyone would have predicted it.
No, I certainly did. I mean, it's wild the swings you can feel within just about a year, because at that point in time, it just was in the gutters, man. Like, it just felt brutal. But not anymore. And I will drink to that. Salute.
Salute. Yeah, I mean, when was it worse? June of 22, or when FTX blew up? Or sorry, yeah.
June of 22. Why June 22?
Wasn't that was the bottom in ETH, wasn't it?
Oh, you mean after Luna?
Yeah. That was ETH put in the low 888 on chain.
That was rough. I feel like from an overall perspective, though, I felt worse in November because it just kind of felt like, at least after the Luna situation, it was just like, okay, I think we can recover from this. After the FTX thing, it just kind of felt like, I don't know, where do we go from here? But anyways, that's a bit of a bummer. Let's move on.
True. Yeah, now we have Dogecoin pumping, which feels very 2021.
It's definitely a throwback. And has there even been any Elon mentions or anything like that, or is this just meme coin frenzy?
It's just front running the mentions.
I mean, did it tag? It tagged almost. It tagged 15 cents.
Yep.
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
And we've got, inflows into the ETF like stronger than I think anybody anticipated, especially this early into the launch. I don't know, man. The sentiment feels pretty good, and it really doesn't feel like we're peaking at all here. Like, I know there's some people on Twitter talking about, oh, we've got to be nearing a top and whatever. But I mean, I think it's just beginning. The sentiment is just starting to get to that place where like retail is barely even here, like barely.
I mean, especially in on-chain, it's not like we're in some every coin you touch is going straight up. The more established ones are pumping, but like you're not seeing projects go from 20 million to 300 million in a week, which, that was very 2021. You've kind of seen on-chain just good projects grind up like OPSEC, just from 10 million, then you FUD me out of it, and then it goes to 100 million.
Apologies on that. I mean, in my defense, that video they posted in like the first days after it launched was very bad.
I know.
But you know what? The evidence was there in the on-chain flows. We should have just been monitoring that instead of listening to my dumb ass.
Well, I mean, this was right around, there was like 3 D-pin rugs in a row. There was the MXH, and then there was 2 other ones right around the same time. And so all I needed was someone to say OPSEC FUD, and it's like, yep, sure. D-pin's all a scam. All of them go to 0. And that was...
It kind of felt that way for a little while, although now it seems as though even if they are LARPs, we're at that phase right now where LARPs tend to do better than not.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that one yesterday with a copy paste of io.net's website, and it still ran till it was 300K even when someone found that out. So I don't know what it is now, but
it feels like, it's getting to be a little bit of silly season. But like you were just saying a minute ago, like what it was during the peak 2021 bull, we're nowhere near that. Yes, projects are pumping and things are looking good, and you put money in something, if it's not an outright scam or a rug, then you're in a good position a few days, even hours later. It's a good time to be on chain. But let me ask you this though, like, your friends been asking you about crypto lately?
Nope, not one.
Same with me. I mean, I have like on-chain friends who some of them have been talking about. Some of their friends have started to text, so that's something to be a little bit aware of. But I think what's the other metric that a lot of people go by is the Coinbase app downloads, and it's moving up, but it's still nowhere near the peak. So I think we've still got quite a ways to go.
Yeah, I mean, and I got into crypto late. So I was born in shitcoins in May of 21, and I came into the space into a group chat with like 30 guys. So, we were all deep into BSC, and they all know I'm still in crypto, and none of them have come back.
Really?
Like, they were all just as degen as anyone is today, and they no mention of it to me.
That surprises me. That surprises me, because I feel like if you had any history with being into the trenches, you would sense the change that's occurred, because I mean, we're a long way off the bottom. And like, even back in most recently this past November when ETH volumes were almost dead. I mean, we're in a completely different market now.
Completely different. But yeah, no, none of my, even in April of 22, I had friends that were, other friends that were talking to me about crypto in general. They haven't mentioned anything to me either. So that's at least a good sign.
Well, and you know what? More gains for us. We've been here this whole time, grinding it out, using the tools at our disposal, some of the incredible tools like ChainEDGE, putting all those juicy on-chain flows right in front of our eyes, getting us ahead of narratives. Like, we've been putting in the work, and anyone that's trying to enter the space now is, I feel like they're going to find themselves just overwhelmed with how evolved the space has become and how much more professional you need to approach things.
Yeah, I mean, one of the research houses put out like a research report on the 5,000 people that are like really in crypto, and they called them pro tail because they have every tool imaginable. They're actually very well versed in scams and stuff. And yeah, like Sway said, stuff definitely gets priced faster. It's much more competitive than it was before too.
I agree. It's very cutthroat, and although we might be moving to a new phase of the market where it's not going to be as cutthroat, right? Like,
yeah,
fighting over, like a small percent gains, where now it's sort of moving into a space where things just keep going up. It's funny, Augustine in the chat, you guys have friends? I mean, mostly these days it's just on-chain friends. Like, it's pretty intense how much it just overtakes the majority of your life. And it's like when you're on chain and you're deep in the trenches, like, it consumes your whole life. So IRL, I mean, I have friends, I just don't really communicate with them as much as I used to.
Having friends is so expensive too. Like, think about your gains.
It takes away your edge. I mean, every once in a while, yes, it's good to get out and like not think about the market for a little bit. But I mean, I don't know about you, but when I'm not in front of my computer, like, I'm just still thinking about everything going on, and like I see charts in my head the whole time.
Yeah, like I'll go to some kid's birthday party and I'm just seeing my Telegram pinging. It's like, hey, you just missed this launch. Like, oh, here's like my pre-launch scores are taking off on this launch, and then I look at the market cap a little bit later after a few drinks, and it's like 3 million. It's like, it's sad, and this is the time where it feels like any time spent away is usually bad. Though the on-chain stuff hasn't been so new launch focused where that's the case, at least right now. Because so much attention is flowing at the memes. That's why you're seeing WIF. WIF is like 1.2 billion right now.
Well, even the ETH version of Dog with Hat is like, had an explosive move today.
Oh, nice. I sold that like yesterday. So
perfect.
Great to hear.
It's always the case, right? Like, you sell something, you're like, I need to rotate to move my capital somewhere else, and then boom.
Yeah, it was just dust sitting in my banana bot, and I just kind of was like, I don't know if this thing hasn't moved yet. Maybe it's not going to move at all.
Well, let's take a look here. I had it plotted out, and it's been a 200% move.
Oh, that's nice.
Sorry, but it's not crazy, but it's just breaking out, and I think it's, I mean, not necessarily all-time highs, although that's very much on the table. But from here, the next spot that I would target as resistance is about 200% up from here. So good moves to be had. Was sort of circling back to something you just mentioned about all the pings. Like, how do you stay on top of it? Because you're one of, like, you have some of the most in-depth viewpoints and analysis on things from broad perspective, and I wouldn't even necessarily say it's from like an FA perspective, like from a project specific FA perspective, but just from like an understanding of markets. So like, how do you stay on top of all that information flow?
One, funny enough, writing the daily edge helps a lot. And so for people, they can basically take the 3 hours of my day I spend consuming all of that information and just read it, because that has helped me be more in tune with the market than ever. But it's taken me a little bit of time to build the right like Twitter notification stream and other stuff to really be always up to date with things. But yeah, I mean, writing that helps a lot. And then there's some internal stuff too.
Some of the secret sauce that you keep to yourself.
Yeah, it'll find its day in the light, but that's more around pre-launch. I've been doing a lot of pre-launch work since Solana took over back in November, but yeah, I mean, it's not even like, it's not a bullshit shill of the Daily Edge. I literally, like, if you're reading that, it's from me watching everything 24/7, and these are the way I see the market going. Like, you can go back to our second post ever, which was meme coin revival.
Yeah.
And I talked about how memes are getting ready to take off. I talked about how Mog is going to be the one that's going to be surprisingly good, because it's, you know, it's a little bit different than the other cousins, because it's like the leader of the pack of the post Pepe memes. And yeah, I mean, it's crushed it. Like, I don't know how much it's up from there, but it's probably like 5x, 10x.
I do remember reading that, and I did not act upon that intel, which is poor judgment on my part. I mean, the amount of alpha that you put in those emails is, if you pay attention, you take the time to go through it, like, it's a lot of information that you can act upon.
Yeah, and then even down to like the new launch level. I mean, it sounds like we're overly shilling this, but I promise any new launch that was scheduled ahead of time has been covered in the Daily Edge.
I mean, we're shilling it because, like, I'm using it on a daily basis myself. Like, I may be a part of the Daily Edge. We both may be a part of the Daily Edge, but like you were saying, like, how you stay on top of your information flow is by writing it out, and it's almost like a journal, right? Where you just organizing your thoughts and staying on top of things. And I find that even, like, you know, I've got my Telegram, and I just write out my thoughts on the market and things that I'm overviewing, and that's just my way of journaling and keeping myself accountable and remembering things. So having that access to the way that your thought process goes and the things that you're paying attention to is, I mean, it's invaluable.
Yeah, and then, I mean, the other side of it too is I have a lot of different pre-launch things that I've both started building and have tested out. So I end up watching almost every new launch come out. So it also helps, you know, stay in tune with what's working in the new launch land, right? So it's not just about, hey, this launched today or whatever. It's like, okay, what kinds of new launch projects are even going to 1 million? Does it need to have socials? Like this week, if you launched a DPIN project that had a website, it's like an easy 300K market cap. So if you snipe that, you have to bribe nothing, and it would make, you know, pretty decent gains. And then it would find its way to zero, but it's been relatively, I mean, you're not going to print like with some of these whiff gains that people are flexing right now, but
yeah.
Yeah, Sway. There's got to be some stuff I'm going to eventually build into ChainEDGE to help with the pre-launch stuff. It's almost too time-consuming to just watch contract deploys by themselves. You actually need some other data and context around them. Like, does it have socials? Are there people I know that are really good degens following their socials? Is this like a hype launch? How many snipers have looked at it? How many snipers are planning on sniping it? There's a lot of different tools that either exist or I'm going to bring to life that it helps a lot.
Well, and ChainEDGE came to be because you wanted to have access to this information yourself, and you were just finding it difficult to keep track of or to get into the weeds fast enough to stay ahead of the game, right? Like that's why ChainEDGE exists.
because I was using Nance, and I'm like, the smart money isn't the smart money that I want. Like they can be smart, but they'll trade like Lido and they'll get a 10% gain. And it's like, I got into crypto a little too late to be fighting for a 10% gain on Lido.
Yeah.
So like, I just want to be smart money equals they make the most money and they aren't insiders, or if they're if they're the right kind of insider, they'll make it into the ChainEDGE process. But yeah, so it's like, and then it's also, I talked to a lot of VCs actually when we first built it, and they're like, yeah, but these, you're not going to label these wallets like whether this person is so-and-so and this person's so-and-so. And I'm like, the amount of money that was lost knowing that stuff hurts people. Knowing who Three Arrows was on chain, like towards the end, at the very, like in November of 21, like he just aped every ohm fork possible and they were getting just rinsed. It's like, I don't need to know who any of these smart wallets are. I mean, I know who some of them actually are. Like I know Digits Capital, Digits DAO is in there. There's some other funds that are in there, but it's like, I don't need to know who they are. If they're within ChainEDGE, they make money, they help me make money. And that's,
yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate thing. Like, yes, tracking wallets on a wallet by wallet basis is a good strategy and can be very profitable. I know people that do it really well. But when you start using it as an aggregation tool like ChainEDGE does, where it puts multiple wallets all very profitable, and you can see how they're moving and interacting with the chain and where they're directing their money, it's a much more powerful way than looking at it on an individual wallet basis, which is one of the things that I really love about ChainEDGE. And yes, it does sound like we're shilling this hard, but I mean, let's face it, we use the product every day. It's part of our daily workflow. Between DexScreener and ChainEDGE, those are the two sites that I have open 24/7 and always in view and accessible. And being able to track the flows in real time in aggregate, when you see them all converging across one token, it just makes it so much easier and gives you a level of confidence that you just don't have when you're going about it blind. So what are you highlighting here about DZHV? What are you trying to show me?
So
the P&L with these guys.
Yep. So sometimes I like to just, I mean, I'm listening to you, but I was just thinking of like, DZHV is a good example of like, you heard about it on Twitter, but it already had gone up a decent amount, and then it had its final like 3x, 4x, and then it was done. And it was just funny because I keep seeing on all of the best trades of the last week, and it's people closing out dizzy. Like they made $1 million of P&L. Smart money did. We watched the flows live in the ChainEDGE Discord. We watched people buying it on all the other chains, and it even 6x from there, and that was late. But most of these guys were buying on the 26 and 27. It's kind of interesting.
It is nice knowing that we're entering a phase of the market, though, where you can see something that's pumped, and because it's pumped, the market will be gravitating towards putting capital into there. It'll just tend to keep pumping, as opposed to, even a month ago where it was, okay, it pumped, get out and rotate.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like it's really hard for some people to, that's something that on-chain people kind of struggle with versus more of the bigger crypto traders. I feel like the bigger crypto traders, like Solana has momentum. It's like they'll just stay on Solana, stay on, like ride your winners, versus an on-chain people are like, oh, it's 5 million already. Like all the snipers are in, I'm late. And then now you're starting to see even those like OPSEC, we saw OPSEC so early, and it just runs. Like anything in the top holdings, they just keep running.
And that as a strategy is like the opposite of the type of trader that I am. I'm a levels to levels trader, and I don't like holding things long term. I like to get my gains pretty quickly and close off my trades and sleep soundly. People keep trying to convince me of like it's a hodler's market, which it may be transitioning into. But we do also watch these traders on chain, and we can see that they're pulling out millions of dollars from executing trades. You know, it's not really just a bunch of hodlers, right? It's a bunch of people making their trades. So it's an interesting, you know, you get the perspective of different strategies.
Yeah, I mean, the people that actually hold, even within the ChainEDGE smart money, it's got to be something. They either have better information than you, or they have a lot of conviction in, because they are very, very flighty. They will sell out of anything. Like they sell a lot. That's why doing it by realized P&L gives you a lot of traders that secure the bag versus stick around too long. But we have seen them, like most of these are actually pretty longer term holdings.
Yeah, like Banana's been in there for a while. Olas has been in there for a while.
Yep.
So it's been, you know, some people would say it's been a little bit frothy. I mean, we're still making higher highs on daily for the majors, so I don't think we're anywhere near that. But what is your feel about where we are in the rotation right now, or in the cycle? Do you think we're nearing a top, or do you think we've got room to grow? Would you like a pullback on the majors that lets things sort of reset a little bit? Like, how are you viewing the next, even just the next weeks to month, not long term, but like weeks to month? What are you feeling right now?
I feel like we will get a pullback here soon in the majors, but I don't know about if will alts get a pullback as well, or will they, you know, because like Bitcoin dominance has been going straight up, right? Which is usually not great for alts. And then usually once it stops going up, that's when ETH will run, and then it all follows along.
And I think that applies very specifically to sex pairs, whereas in the past that applied to the broader market. But it almost feels as though on-chain is kind of decoupled from the majors over the last six months or so, maybe even almost a year.
Yep. Yeah,
that's like,
that too.
It's its own world, right? Like people that exist on chain just aren't focusing on that. Yes, we're all watching Bitcoin and excited when it's getting near all-time highs, et cetera, but it doesn't drive the market sentiment anymore, because there's so many projects with perceived use case or value. Whether that's real or not is yet to be determined. You know, my viewpoint is it's all just speculation vehicles until proven otherwise. But you know, I feel like we've definitely reached a point where there is a level of decoupling that would have been unimagined in the last cycle.
Yeah, 100%. Like there was it felt like last cycle, if ETH had a 5% down day, it was like just a 30% flush in every on-chain coin, no matter what. And you don't really see that as much now, which is very, very good to see. It's also very nice.
If anything, you almost see them, just the strong ones just keep going up and like defy the market.
I mean, that's what Doge has done, right? Of course, my Doge was because I was trading some Doge on leverage at one point earlier. Yeah. Okay.
So if we're not feeling frothy, is it still early, or has the last year been a bull market?
I feel like there's like a ticking clock, right? Like, I don't think we're necessarily early. It's just we're not at the top. So, oh, someone's asking sniper questions. I feel like we're still.
What snipers approved to snipe in the dashboard and notify people. There are some sniper things in the works, although it's to be determined whether that's a part of ChainEDGE or if that's a separate product altogether, or if it's too personable for OCW to release to the public, because it's a pet project of his that he's been working on in the shadows. It's to be determined. Also, sniping is not for the faint of heart.
But I have that. That's the next thing that's coming into my my personal tool. Is it tracks the most?
That's what I mean, though. It's like it's your personal. It's your pet project. Like does that get released into the wild? It's to be determined.
It could, but it's not. It'll be a different price point. A lot. higher price point, but it's pretty. It's actually very helpful. It's helpful not only for sniping though, because then if you see so much hype on the approve side, you're like, okay, I'm not going to rush my buys into this because they're like the ones that have so much pre-launch hype where you're going to watch guys fight each other with like 10 to 30 ETH of bribe wars. Those are always really good buys in like 20 minutes after, because it'll go up so much because of people chasing it, but it runs to like 1 million to 2 million right away. Then it'll decline, then it's a good buy. But anyway, you're saying we were trying to talk about the market.
We were, yeah. So if we're not early and we're not quite frothy, so something that historically has kind of been a signal of a top, at least a local top, is when the memes start to go crazy. And we kind of had that feeling when everything was going on crazy on Solana over the Christmas break, over the holidays. Like Solana memes were going crazy, and that tends to signify a bit of a local top. And then, in true form, at least in terms of Solana flows, that kind of was a peak, and it came down, although it's starting to pick back up again. Do we think that all these meme coins having a run right now is a potential foreshadow of at least some sort of cooling off, or do we just think this is now retail starting to step in and going, oh damn, Bitcoin's kind of already near all-time highs, what can I throw my money into that gives me more upside than that would be possible?
So I feel like you're seeing that, but it's not necessarily flowed to on-chain completely. So like you're seeing like the meme stuff is getting quite degenerate. I don't know how long it'll last, but I assume as long as if you watch the Coinbase ranking every day and it keeps going up, I'd assume meme coins are just going to keep on rocking and rolling until there's some sort of flush there. But on chain, it's not so much like that, right? It's not like it's not like easy money anywhere, whether it's Solana, Blast is full of rugs. ETH has been decent, but it's not free money. You still have to, you have to buy right or buy more established things and then they go up. But
yeah, I mean, the new launch market is there's a lot of rugs that are occurring. There's a lot of pump and dumps that are occurring. I think it's gotten better. There was a period of time where new deploys on ETH were, like 60-70% rug to non-rug ratio, whereas now it's gone back down below 50%, which I think is a positive sign. I think maybe gas is a part of that because it's just more costly to deploy a contract, so it deters a lot of people, which is actually kind of interesting about that DH, whatever that
Dizzy
token was, the Dizzy token, which the whole thing about that was did they really deploy a contract for $2? I don't know that I want that on Ethereum. I don't think that I want something like that to succeed, because then all of a sudden it's all going to be rugs, and then it does fail because no one's going to buy a token that was launched with that standard, right?
Yep, exactly.
So a friend of mine was digging into the narrative of that token, and we were discussing it a bit, and in my head, and the conclusion that I came to is, well, yes, there could be an upside opportunity when it had reached peak FUD. It was down near the bottom, although I haven't checked the chart in a few days. But when it was down around that, I was like, do we even want this to be a successful standard or narrative? Because it's just not going to be good for launches.
Yep.
People hate on the gas fees, whatever. And yes, if you're doing day-to-day DeFi activities, go to an L2. It's what they're here for. But if you really want to be shitcoining, you want that gas so that it counteracts a few things. Counteracts excessive amounts of scams and rugs, and it also prevents a lot of the JEET activity that occurs because it's just more costly, and you need to see a larger percent gain before you can actually pull out with profit.
100%.
It is interesting when the denominator goes up with the whole thing, though, right? We're sitting now at $33, $34, $3,500 ETH. All of a sudden, a 0.1 is what, on new launches, people were aping like a 0.05, a 0.025 for a while, and now it's like, this is serious money that we're starting to get back into.
I know I still find myself, like I'll catch myself, I'll see some new launch, like, oh, I'll throw 0.1 ETH at it, and then do that a couple of times, I lose it. It's like, oh, like I'm down 0.3 ETH, which is $1,000. It's like this. It's getting a little more expensive thinking about it that way.
That's why we just have to start living with denominating everything in ETH. It's a difficult threshold to cross over, but that's if we're gonna revolutionize the financial industry, like eventually something like that becomes the denominator, whether that's Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever it is. But like eventually, hopefully, I mean, ideally, for our children's sake, like it's no longer like a USD denominated world. But who knows? Who knows?
But yeah, on the on-chain market, like usually these super peaks represent a top. So we're not talking about ETH or anything like that anymore, right? Like shitcoins.
Yeah.
Anything that's primary, like on-chain only tokens. Like I usually look at this Dune board and like I'm pretty sure there's a peak around here. This was Solana's very clear peak, December 26th.
I mean, the Christmas day was like peak, like Ansem, like talking smack about Ethereum, like getting drunk and like literally shitting all over Ethereum. Like obviously, like here's the thing, like in the moment, myself and some other people were like, this feels like a very top moment for Solana, and like you could just kind of feel it. But like in hindsight, it is so clear, like obviously that was going to be a peak.
But then when you look at the year to date, it's not as clear
about where we are now,
because you see some peaks on certain days, but it's maintained pretty consistent in ETH and Solana.
Yeah.
So at least for shitcoin, like that's pretty supportive. Yeah,
it's an ebb and a flow, right? Like you can see actually that it's people rotating between chains instead of rotating between shitcoins and stable coins.
Yep,
is what I would think. Like, there's that not old, but like that adage that there's a bull market somewhere happening in crypto. Well, it's very clear that that's the case.
100%. I mean, you've had a little bit of now. It's kind of decent everywhere. I mean, Solana shitcoin hasn't been as good, but they've had WIF just go straight parabolic, so they've got their win.
Well, I mean, they're getting listed on Robinhood or something like that. Like that's pretty monumentous. It's kind of like, and you also highlighted it in the newsletter a week or so ago about Robinhood hitting
record volumes.
Record volumes. I mean, it feels like we're getting into a good environment for all this. I mean, it's interesting because overall, when you look at like people's financial situation outside of crypto, it seems like people are struggling, but like crypto is this beacon of opportunity and like hope, right? Like people hear stories, like normies hear stories about punting a couple $100 and then all of a sudden making a yearly salary. Like that's got to be enticing.
Yeah, and people did that on WIF. And so if you take what you just said and flip it back, we're hitting all of these things, right? Bitcoin's up, ETH is up, where it's GCR's thesis playing out that everyone is going to just need to gamble. And so if you think about why we're peaking, even though the macro environment isn't necessarily great for it, it makes me think that we're going to have fun for like this may be like a local top, but it's not like the October November 21 peak or the May 21 peak.
No, I think that we're just at a stair-stepping pattern. I mean, a local top, we haven't even seen any signs of any kind of lower low on any significant time frame. So I think that argument just doesn't hold weight at the moment. Well, like, has it looked a little parabola-like? Sure, but I mean, until there's evidence on daily of a breakdown in structure, like there's no reason to worry about this. I think now is just push the gas and keep going and try to extract as much as possible.
100%. I mean, some of these moves, start giving me a little bit of pause when you think about Pepe running it back to all-time highs. Like, look.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as it broke that, there was a ceiling on it, like a weekly level, just around there. Yeah, as soon as it broke that, it was game on. Which is why, so study this chart. Go back and look at charts that are still in that accumulation range. Even if they're older tokens, it's kind of an interesting paradigm now where everyone's like, oh, it has to be new tokens to get those gains. But they've been in these long accumulation pattern ranges for, weeks, sometimes months, and they're starting to push through that. Like, there's opportunity to pull out a lot of hundreds of percents, thousands of percents on tokens all the time. And it's not just like one token here and there, it's all over the place. So there's a lot of opportunity if you know how to dig it out. It's just being ahead of the curve and not, I mean, we're kind of getting to a place where something's pumped and you can jump into it and still realize a lot of gains. But if you have the right tooling at your disposal and you've got a good group of friends on chain that you can monitor and keep tabs and have each other's back and look out for things, like it's good times.
Yeah, 100%. I actually bought a bunch of this coin today. Good old Moggers.
Mog. I had to have a few weeks ago. I had to have someone explain to me what the meme was because I didn't really understand it. But then now I understand it with the cap. So the glasses are called Mog. Is that what it is?
I have no idea. I just know it's more to me about the thesis is basically two things. One, if I go to a ETH volume, which meme is always number 2 behind Frog? Mog. Mog follows Frog. Okay, that's thesis point 1. But I'm like big volume every day. Thesis. Well, I didn't finish it entirely. It is priced, So let me go full all on-chain coins, right? WIF is $1.2 billion. Pepe is $1.7 billion. Mog. 200. Come on. They don't have any of the major centralized exchange listings like the other two. It kind of feels like they might get their own. It's going to run to $1 billion and I'm going to have a very good day. And then the second part is there's like the actual term mogging has been getting a lot more popular. That's it.
I've never heard it used as a term, although I'm old and not very in tune with like the younger phrases and whatnot. Although I have some friends that tune me into some of these things, but I've never heard mogging yet.
It is a thing.
Also, everyone that's tuned in, yes, we know that music is replaying sometimes the same song. We're still, like we said, we move fast, we break things, and we iterate on the fly. So there's going to be moments where like we're trying to figure it all out, and we're going to work on it for next time. And you know what? Every episode that we put out is going to get a little bit more polished, but it's always going to be on chain and degens. So.
There we go. I just changed the song. There you go.
There we go. Also, by the way, if anyone was curious, I used to make music, and all this music is from a very former life of mine, like 20 years ago, that I made. So, cheers to that.
Mogging is Intel lingo.
Mogging means you look better than. So that's kind of interesting because it's sort of like looks maxing, which is what I took as a play on words for our edge maxing.
Yeah.
That's funny. So now I like this meme even more.
What is mogging and mewing?
I guess I just had to throw all of my ETH into Mog and then just hope for the best because Onchain Wizard told me to. By the way, guys, I don't know if you're not following Onchain Wizard on Twitter, at Onchain Wizard. The way he thinks and puts together his thesis, like, it's not like a typical, like, okay, the revenue of this protocol is this and that, and oh, they're tapping into this sort of new paradigm. But no, he like breaks it down in a very he uses his right curve brain to analyze things in a left curve view. It's something very unique that I really haven't come across before, so I would go follow this guy.
But like, it comes from being, I came in, so after shitcoining in May of 21, I started doing like DeFi research and DeFi this, because DeFi used to make money. So knowing that stuff would make you money. Now, anytime it says, oh, this project makes this, it's this PE, it never goes up again. At the peak of Unibot, Unibot's PE so low, Unibot's PE so low, boom, that was 250 million, probably never gets back there. Like, the market likes memes.
Is Unibot still lagging? Also, guys, next time I'll also be able to screen share and we can pull up some of my charting that I'm known for. But in the meantime, how is Unibot doing?
55 million. I mean, it'll probably break out one more time.
It's going to, because that's a pretty big accumulation range, and it showed, like, with that one breakout, it's telling me that it has a propensity to want to go higher. It's just people weren't ready to stop. And I wonder if there's market makers on this token, because it is so large and has been around for a little bit longer, which is maybe they're like trying to accumulate more cheaper. Just when I see something like that, it's kind of what I think.
Could be. I don't know if they have any SEX listings, but they very well could have some market makers.
Even without a SEX listing, though, there's on-chain tokens that are getting market made. And when you see a pattern like that, where it's like consistently like trying to make higher peaks and then comes back down, tells me they're trying to accumulate before it gets sent. Someone also asked about ticker Bitcoin, which, I mean, that had quite an explosive move recently. It's still lagging a little bit, though. About 80% in the last 2 days.
Could be good. I mean, it probably ends up being, if Pepe is Doge and Mog is SHIB, then Bitcoin is Floki. Is the way I think about it. Floki. I mean, Floki. You don't know Floki? Floki's like,
no, I do. Floki was a good coin for me last cycle. So last cycle I was very not in tune with like the degen aspect of things. I was way more ideological about things, but Floki for some reason caught my attention just from some guys that I knew on Twitter that had been talking about. So I was like, I'm just going to throw some money in here. It actually did pretty well for me, even though I, round tripped everything, which was why I decided to learn TA in the first place. But it was a good token for me, even when I eventually sold it towards, the lower end of the spectrum, even though it was still up quite a bit. But yeah, Floki was a good coin.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like this one used to have a pretty good community, but I never really followed it that close.
I mean, it's a lot closer to, like, I'd say it's about halfway back to the all-time highs there from where it bottomed. Like, that's seeing some good appreciation there. So it's the person that asked about Bitcoin. I think it's going to go higher. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't, given the way that the market's been behaving. Like, especially it still has a cult following. I can't imagine that they've all decided to stop their, is it Spratos or Spratos?
Yeah, Spratos.
Like, they're pretty...
Yeah, it's pretty culty. So are these guys.
Yeah. Well, the way that I've been sort of viewing it personally is like, it's taken a bunch of people that were community members, and now all of a sudden they're evangelists again because they're starting to see some gains happening.
This one too actually had a pretty good cult for a long time.
Yeah. It seems to be lagging. If you scroll over a little bit, like, it's relatively like, but it also looks like it wants to send, right?
I mean, if Bitcoin's, because like, so Mog went with Pepe like a lot harder, right? Like, they put in 6 times, right?
Well, there was a weekly trend line, a meme line, a meme diagonal that had been forming for months on Mog, and it broke it and retested, and that was the moment. I actually had an alert set for it, but for some reason, first of all, deck screener alerts are atrocious. We need to figure out a way to incorporate price-based alerts on ChainEDGE, because it would be a game changer. But there was a weekly meme line that had been broken, and as soon as that happened, it was destined to send, and here we are. But it's kind of funny because it coincided with when you were talking about Mog. It looks interesting. But
yeah, like, so Mog, versus its all-time high is like 5x. I mean, we
Look at
went
that
through.
thing. That's a wild chart.
It was just going down too, and I got so like right here.
See, now looking at it zoomed out that far, it does confirm me a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, Doge is still running, SHIB is still running.
Well, in that peak bull last cycle, Doge went from like $1 billion to how many billions in like a day or something? It was ridiculous.
But
we're not there yet. We're not there yet. But like,
there's definitely
it is a little concerning.
Yeah, there's like a time ticker. Like, there's gonna be a time where it feels like it's getting goofy, but I don't know. It still seems like this one, at least Mog could hit $1 billion, right? Like, why not?
No, exactly. Like that's what you were saying about your thesis behind it being, okay, these other ones are at $1 billion. This is only at 200 million. Why should it not achieve that? And I agree, except when I see it zoomed out that far and see how wild that chart looks like that.
I mean, with like, is this the real
I
width?
feel like WIF had more plateaus though. It had a few plateaus before it.
I mean, we put it, I like putting these in market cap. Yeah,
it had some stair stepping and then it popped off and would, but we'll see. I'm not saying anything is too frothy right now because I think we're still mid-early stage. At least I want to believe that we are, so that we have lots of time to print. But
I mean, I think the meme thing is probably in.
It's finding a local.
Yeah, it's.
I'd agree. The same
sometime
way
this month, it's all going to be done. It's going to peak, but
if Bitcoin breaches all-time highs and then all of a sudden retail actually returns, and WIF is tradable on centralized exchanges and Robinhood, what does that even look like? What does that look like? What does that start to look like? I feel wildly underexposed to the market.
I mean, that's how like even Doge has been like absolutely money during this little meme. Like,
I mean, it looks the same as the Mog chart, just on a different time frame.
But they all started kicking off right here. Yeah, I mean, it's
December. What does that say? February 20. So that was literally
a couple days
when so the big pumps in Bitcoin and ETH occurred. I mean, but then also, if you look historically, that's kind of historical rotations, right? Like the majors pump, and then the other sex pairs start to pump. Although they've been lagging a little bit. I mean, I put some money into Arbitrum and OP a few weeks back, thinking that they would be betas to ETH momentum, but they've just kind of been a little bit flat. Whereas had I just left it in ETH, I'd be up at least more than I am in those, which is funny considering how ETH was a stable coin for like all of last year.
Yeah, for a long time.
So I did not play that rotation well. And I'm not talking about like my day-to-day in and out trading bags. I'm just talking about like core positioning, and I was trying to capture more upside. And I do think actually once those do move, that it will give me that upside. It's just been delayed. So I could have probably put that capital to better use elsewhere, but can't win them all.
Have you been playing with any of the Blast coins?
I haven't bridged yet. I entertainingly watched the market when it went live yesterday, and someone made a good observation. Shout out to Whodunit on Twitter. Great follow, great friend, good dude, very smart, very early, very good at rotating. He put out a tweet that Blast is just Solana with honeypots.
Hey, yeah, that's kind of what I've heard.
I've also heard that a lot of these tokens had, like these ones that have been launching that aren't like the official tokens, but like even these meme coins had like funding rounds, pre-sales, and that's why they're just getting absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
I have I'm a big proponent of deck screener filters. I feel like that's where you find your edge via deck screener is by using the filters extensively. And I have some blast filters, and they were, maybe like at any given time yesterday, like 6 to 10 tokens in there. Today, it's been a ghost town.
Yeah, so I just put on some simple ones that I use when I'm going fast, which is I want to see things with these two things.
I just pulled mine open and there's not one coin.
Oh,
there's not one coin. And they're based on volume and transaction amounts, etc. And there's not one coin today, or at this moment. And that's not the first time over the last last 16 hours since I woke up today of there being none. So that's kind of really interesting. I think, so leading up to it, the whole, the timeline, private groups everywhere was like super bullish Blast, and it being like this crazy printing period. And I think that can happen. But when everyone is that bullish on something, it kind of gives me a moment to be like, that makes me a little bit bearish.
Yeah.
Like when people are expecting a certain kind of environment, that to me, it doesn't make sense.
But I think next week is going to be really, really good, because now that you've had this, everyone bridged over, they thought they were super early. People that were early to BCAT obviously did very well.
Yeah.
But I mean, some of these have, obviously Mia has done pretty well.
I think what's going to happen is the opportunists filter back out. Excuse me, sorry. The opportunists filter back out and the real trading will begin.
Well, because they also have the real projects coming next week. Like Blastoise comes, I think, on the 4th.
Which you've heard about a few times.
Yeah, that one's... I don't know which one's going to be the official. Pac Moon has the most followers, but the smart degens that I follow that are very early and are quasi snipers, they either snipe or buy early, they're all pumped about Blastoise. So
I'm always a little bit hesitant about memes that are supported by the founding teams. One, for instance, was the one on ZK Sync. I think it was Zorro or something like that. It was like, oh, the team, the ZK Sync team is kind of behind. No, it was ZORRO. 2 R's. Let's see where that's at actually, because I sold it a long time. Yeah. Oh, it's in. Yeah. So the day one though, you see what happened there. It had that big move up, and then it kind of just bled out from there. And maybe it'll be a different story. What's the other one that was recent? From Barra Plug.
Well, that one's not as official. It's been pretty.
Oh.
Yeah, we were buying in here that.
So I'm a little bit skeptical. I mean, I think some of the ones on base have done better, but that gets the normie crowd going because they're it's
base actually had a lot
Coinbase.
Of printers. This thing has been a printer. Look at that.
Oh, is this just launched the other day, huh?
Yeah, Brett.
So I'm pretty sure I saw some alerts come in on that, and I was debating entering down near the bottom, and I just did not. So that's a fail. That's a fail on my part.
Yeah, base has actually been.
Can you?
You want to go back?
I do, but I want to see the. Okay, for next episode, we'll have it so that I can share a screen too, because I actually want to see what percentage it's moved from down there. I like Max Payne, and I'm a bit of a masochist.
I have it in market cap now, so it's easier to count.
I'm a bit of a masochist, but let's see. Based off of where I was looking at it, what is this thing?
If it was down here, it's up 40x.
Yeah, 4,000% or so. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. good to know that what type of environment we're in.
It's a little goofy. But Base has been full of these printers. Like
They have been.
This has been pretty good.
It has been for sure, and I feel like it hasn't been getting, at least on Twitter, like attention. I feel like it hasn't been getting the sort of focus that it's. So maybe that's what it like. It's just quietly printing. Although I say that in like every chain has been printing lately. So,
but the joke is that Base is better than Blast because Base has coins that go up.
I mean, in the beginning, it didn't though, right? Like, yes, that one token went up and then it rubbed hard bald, or whatever it was.
Yep.
Which has the FUD been put to rest? Was Cheat Corner not the guy who rugged that? Like, I remember seeing like it was his token or something. Well, anyways, I feel like that got disproven as FUD.
I don't remember.
So what else do we want to talk about? Like, okay. So Sol was a big thing. Then Top came in. ETH came back in and like reclaimed that spot. Are we starting to see a bit of a revival now in Solana volume?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
you're writing about it.
Like today, Solana volume was almost equal to ETH. Sol's actually been taking relative share from ETH for like 4 or 5 days now in terms of degen volume.
That's notable.
So
you think WIF is a big part of that?
Probably. Well, probably part of it, yes. I mean, and there's been other, they have all sorts of degen new stuff going on over there too with decent volume.
I think the next Solana bubble is going to put the most recent one to shame.
Yeah,
because it's just like we were just talking about the fees being a feature, not a bug of Ethereum, but on Solana, the no fees is also a feature, not a bug.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to go. I don't think it's going anywhere. And it's
I've never thought that it's going anywhere. I actually think that it's going to be the home of memes, although the recent meme run on Ethereum sort of counters that theory. But I think it's going to become. I think it's going to get wild over there. Some of my friends have been talking about this token Lost. I have no position in it, but they've been talking about this token Lost. That's actually a slight utility token on Solana. That has potential, which. A month ago, that was a laughable statement.
Yeah. Huh. So this is what I watch for Sol, and
the bot data.
Well, I was just follow the bot data because it's just the degens, right? Like,
yeah,
it's kind of brilliant if you think about it, because it's like, I don't care about actual volume. What are the guys with, they've got BonkBot on their Telegram. What are they doing? And if you look at Sol, it's like, despite all of the clowning on them, it has stayed very, very consistent at like 20 million a day, which is very, very good.
And it's ridden the overall market. It hasn't been
it's lagged. So they're like, it's held up way better than anyone gives it credit for, but no one's talking about it. So like, this is probably like, it's bottom,
alpha,
right?
This is alpha, yeah.
Right, that is bottom.
Well, and some of the smartest guys I know have been paying a lot of attention again to Solana.
Versus, this is ETH now only. You can see the good periods when it really spikes. This was the peak of the 404 craziness, where they did.
Which I'm happy to see that narrative fall by the wayside and to see. Yes, GUI has still been elevated on Ethereum, but at least it's not what it was for that several week period. Like 40, 50 GUI is manageable. Sustaining over 100 GUI days is like, oh, I'm not thrilled about.
Yep. But I don't know what to make of. Like, ETH has stayed pretty good, but
I mean, ETH volumes are good. ETH volumes have been great. Like we were just pulling up tokens that have gone wild.
But I mean, remember the dark ages where it got really slow during Solana's.
That was brutal. I remember there was a 2-week period when gas was down around like 6 Gwei, and you're like, okay, get all the DeFi activities done you need to do. Start your do a bunch of restaking, put that ETH to work because it's super cheap right now. But there's nothing else to do because there's no tokens popping. I will say this though, when volume is that low, the ones that actually do well are really easy to spot.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like every single token is like running around with like a chicken with your head cut off. It's like, how do you stay on top of each coin? You just kind of got to pick some and just go with it.
100%. Yeah, I mean, Solana looks, it's so consistent too. Like, I don't know, it's very weird. Like, the users that over here, you can tell, are like so much stickier. Like, if you look at how much ETH jumps around. Like, it's like certain days people just don't trade anything, right? Like
today kind of felt slow on Ethereum.
Look at it. Oh wait, it needs rerun. I'm gonna rerun it right now, so we'll have the updated data. But yeah, if you wanted to see like what your ideal casino environment would look like, no one's talking about your chain, no one's talking about your tokens other than whiff. No spike in their volume despite whiff. Like, that's a good looking casino over there.
You hear that, everyone? Onchain Wizard is saying, pay attention to Solana right now, which actually kind of segues us into some news that's coming up for ChainEDGE, which is that in a matter of days, possibly even Monday, waiting for official word from the devs, but the Solana on-chain smart money data tracking is being launched on ChainEDGE.
Yeah, it's going to be a game changer because there's nowhere else where you can not only get summarized smart money data, but be able to watch the swaps live, get alerts. I mean, there's some people
the overall decipher that minefield, right? Like,
yeah,
it's such an so we were talking about being cheaper to deploy and whatnot. Like, there's a lot of insider activity that occurs on Solana. So to be able to actually have some insights into that and see the flows in real time and not just be guessing where people are heading, like, it's going to be a huge unlock.
100%. Especially because, Solana in general, there's less tools and stuff, right? I mean, there's certain things that exist for new launches, kind of, right? But to not only be able to get smart money data on new launches to check out, but just rotations in general will be, I think, very helpful. And I mean, again, like, I gotta say it one more time. Look at how consistent the number of users are over here. Like, that is bonkers. Like, I think I've shown it so long. Yeah.
Fueling the ecosystem with free money always helps too, especially from an ecosystem that historically hadn't given out free money with the airdrops and whatnot. So there's a lot of people out there that are just never gonna transact on Ethereum, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, like, this is ETH plus Sol is 30 to 40,000 a day, and I mean, most of them it's just Sol people, like almost 20 to 30,000 a day. It's just Sol.
Now, I know there has been, some shade leverage that a lot of that might be just bot activity, and I don't mean trading bots, but like bot activity. So, that's part of the equation there. But I mean, I used to be very anti Solana in a former life where I was very pro Ethereum, very pro ETH maxi, but all that died a year ago, and it's just like, congratulations to Solana for what they're able to achieve here, because it's impressive, and they've built a strong community that will only use Solana, which is good for them. I mean, they've done a great job. I'm impressed.
But I doubt Bonk, because Bonk doesn't have any reason to. So they have no token, right? So there's
no,
I
don't mean bot in the sense of like they're like faking their numbers. It's just like there's a lot of like arbitrage bots and stuff like that that were occurring on Solana, which were sort of inflating the usage data.
Let me find users, because if any of them were not going to have, because some of the, well, if you have a token, right, you want to get your usage numbers up. These guys do not. I mean, this is where most of them are too. 10-ish thousand a day. But yeah, Solana data and then Blast data coming to ChainEDGE next week.
Amazing. Looking forward to all that.
Yeah, the Blast data will obviously help too, because it's like Solana Plus over there right now.
I think give it a week, give it a few days to a week, and the initial over craze will die down where people's expectations were too high, and it'll just return. It'll sort of equalize to an actual trading environment. So we're pushing a little over an hour. I mean, I've been enjoying the time and enjoying our conversation. I don't know how long we want to keep going for. How are people in the chat doing? I see a couple. Let's take a look here. What have people been asking about? Take a look at blobs. I think that's a ETH meme. So I see requests for viewpoints on tokens in specific. It's not necessarily the purpose of this show and like as itself. We're just kind of like shooting the shit, but there are plans in the future to do more perspectives on tokens individually. Like, you know, I might even be firing up a shitcoin chart request show here. Probably get some guys that are more FA oriented. Like, our plan is to, this is just a starting ground. Like the Daily Edge, we're an on-chain media platform that utilizes tools and edge to our advantage, and we want to be able to provide insights and alpha to people from many different aspects and approaches to on-chain, because as we can see, there's a million different ways to run strategies on-chain and be profitable. So we want to be able to highlight and showcase all those sort of avenues. So in the future, I think we can get some shows fired up that are more specific, looking at tokens on a case-by-case basis, whereas this is more just us talking about the broader on-chain lifestyle, I guess you could call it.
Yep, 100%.
But what is this? Is this blob?
This is blobs. I'm not sure if I'm looking at the right one.
No, I think this is it's about the blob space for 4844 that's coming up on Ethereum, right? It's like a meme about that.
I don't know, but the picture of the blobs is hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, and this looks pretty good.
And the chart looks pretty good, right?
Oh, I kind of like the blobs.
Releasing March 15th. So yeah, EOP 4844 is what this relates to. I think there was also another one called Dankun, I think is the actual name of the fork.
Yeah.
Upgrade. But that looks, what is that, down 30%. So no, it's still
no, but
up,
look at
although it looks
volume.
like it's made a look. Yeah, I know. And it looks
5K
like it's made
of volume from 11 people is
horrible.
Versus million of volume on blobbers? It's pretty good.
Oh, did we just provide some alpha to OCW here?
Look at this picture up here.
I know, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I do like the new integrations that Dex Screener has done with these little the pictures.
Yeah, the pictures makes me want to buy it. I think it's funny. It's funnier than like Hemiel. Oh, holy shit.
Holy shit.
Oh, dude. That hurts. I used to own some of this.
I also saw something on the ChainEDGE site. Someone was pointing out that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coin came back to life.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah.
See, I think I owned that too. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Went to $1 million.
Oh, it's still low though. It still has a lot of way to go. Yeah, I mean that blew past all-time highs.
Damn. Bobo. I remember seeing some smart buys.
We're definitely in meme coin season.
That's what I keep saying.
You have, I think, for the past week or so, you've been saying that in the newsletter. Now, full disclosure, full disclaimer, whatever, I think it's a disclaimer. Obviously, nothing that we've been talking about here is financial advice. And I'm going to say this, the memes are getting to a level where it's frothy. So please don't go just aping blindly into tops. But that being said, I think there's still a lot of upside to be captured here.
At least on, like, you can't just buy, like, I mean, is Pepe really going to, like, run it to be equal to SHIB now? Like
40 billion or whatever it got to?
SHIB is an 11 billion market cap.
But peak bull, what did it get to?
Oh, something like that. Actually, I think I need to go. Oh, okay. Market cap. Yeah,
50?
I mean, 50.
Things were really insane. Like, looking back, like, in the moment, you don't really realize, I guess. But then looking back and seeing that and seeing where things are now, like, it's barely started. Sounds
yeah. Oh, this was the weird. So another thing we're supposed to do on the show is share war stories or pain stories.
Yes.
So I've got a good one for SHIB. So right here is when they it's either the first move or the second move when they it got listed on Coinbase. It's the first move. And so the Coinbase price pumped just crazy. The Coinbase price was actually 10 times higher this day than SHIB. So I bought SHIB around here.
Yeah.
Because the price was already 10 times higher. So I was going to arb it because me and some of the actual ChainEDGE team used to do Coinbase arbs. And I send it in and they say, we're not processing any deposits. So all my giant stack of money was stuck in Coinbase for days.
Oh, no.
And so it was like right here, I think actually I got to zoom it out because so wherever I sent it in, the couple days later, I wasn't up that much. So I remember I sold out of it and it was like a 10x. So I actually would have gotten what I was looking for, but I sold it because my money got stuck on Coinbase. So there's your pain story. It was a lot. So I bought some here and I should have had it here. So there's one pain story for the day.
But you know what? Had you not had that pain story, maybe the rest of us would not have ChainEDGE right now.
That's also very true.
You'd be owning an island somewhere and not even thinking about Onchain.
That is very true. I wonder if I can actually find if I can show my buys. Look at that. There it is.
Oh, wow.
I had to go dig up the old wallet. Yeah, look there. Look, I've even bought 77 grand right there.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah. And what can you get the measurement tool? Like what was that percent rise from there to the peak? Just to go supreme pain.
Yeah. It's 12x. 10 to 12x.
You know what though? We're seeing these kind of moves happen every day. It's just having the level of conviction to put 77K into something.
Well, because it was the arb was there, you know? So
yeah.
It's so funny you can't even see that it was going on there. It's absolutely wild.
And like, are we just in that first leg right there, right now, with where things are?
Get this one?
Yeah. Are we even there yet? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, one can hope, right?
I definitely have my hopium on that we're early mid, not late mid. It's late.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to pull up the old Shiv and Doge. Oh, I can't.
And yeah, shout out Renvar. I think that's how you pronounce it in the chat. Thank you for the blobs alpha.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Oh, see, so interestingly, Doge just kind of did it all at once almost.
Well, I think in a matter of days, it went from like 900 million or just under $1 billion to like 40 billion. It was like an almost overnight situation.
Yeah, I don't know. Or is this
things look slightly more parabolic right now, which does concern me. Like, there's no, I mean, I guess not really. It's a similar structure. You know, the faster they go, the harder and faster they go up, though, the harder and faster they come down. So everyone, please, if you are up a big amount of money, remember to take profits. It doesn't have to be all in one go, but do remember to take profits, because the whole point of this is to change your life and not see it all round trip and then feel max pain when it eventually comes crashing back down.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like looking at this chart combination, because it makes it harder for me to believe in something that Mog is going to $1 billion.
So then don't do it. Just don't do it. Just follow it. Play each. You know what? Each chart is its own thing. Each chart is an isolated incident. Yes, there are echoes and what is the adage? Like, it doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. But like, each chart is its own thing. So like, I try not to compare charts. I just like look at the price action of what it's telling me in the moment.
I'm just trying to believe in something.
Well, I fucking believe in crypto. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything we didn't really talk about. I mean, there is some other information about ChainEDGE that we have coming up, is that there's going to be a trading competition. We have to work out the details on that, and it's going to be a few weeks after the Solana data rolls out. But there is going to be a trading competition. So do stay tuned for more details about that. I think we still even have to have our internal meetings about the logistics of that all, but we do know that one is coming in a matter of weeks, and it will involve allowing people that are not ChainEDGE subscribers to get access to the site throughout the competition, to test it out and to find alpha that way and utilize it to their advantage. So stay tuned for information on that. What else? If you're not signed up for the Daily Edge newsletter, I would strongly suggest you do. I read it daily, not just because I'm part of the team, but because OCW drops insane amounts of knowledge and alpha into those things, just from the way that he's going around finding these sources of information is not how I would ever think to find this information. So definitely subscribe to the newsletter, thedailyedge.com. What else? Subscribe to ChainEDGE. Shout out to our sponsors, ChainEDGE, although, as I'm sure anyone that didn't know beforehand now knows, that Onchain Wizard is the founder of ChainEDGE. It's actually how we came into contact with each other. Was I was seeing little bits about ChainEDGE here and there in some newsletters and on Twitter. And I was, debating between ChainEDGE and another platform that I'm not going to name, but end of the day, it came down to interactions that I had with Onchain Wizard online, and just the approach that he took to business, and just being very hands-on and listening to his community about the product. So if you're not already, or if you're curious about it, head over to ChainEDGE.io. As we said, Solana debt is rolling out. Pricing is going to be going up when that happens, but you can lock in your early pricing now before it does, at least for your whatever you sign up for, whether that's a quarterly or yearly or whatever. Like, lock that pricing in for the time being, because pricing will be going back up, or not back up, but will be going up. Solana data coming. Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. I mean, like I mentioned before, for I think Sway, you're still in here. The thing you're looking for is something that I've been building. There will be a day it makes it into ChainEDGE. It just won't be at the ChainEDGE current price. It'll be a premium tier.
There's also going to there's going to be a tiered level, like whether you want just EVM data, or you want just Solana data, or you want the combination of the two. There's going to be either package pricing or individual pricing. We have to hammer out the final details of that. But if you get in now, you are getting at least the pricing as advertised before it goes up for the time being. So that's something to consider. But yeah, I use it daily. I use ChainEDGE daily. It's like, what is this whiff Pepe Mog Eno that just launched? Are you seeing this on the feed? Go look at your Alpha stream. It's literally all over it right now. Whiff Pepe Mog Eno. Of course it's Whiff Pepe Mog Eno.
Probably phones. It's got all the names.
It's up, right? 12,000%. And it launched 10 minutes ago. Whiff Pepe Mog Eno. I mean, that's the thing about being on chain, is like you kind of just have to be monitoring the chain at all times, because at any given moment something can pop off.
Oh, if it's only a 500k market cap, that's worth it. Do I have any? Oh, I don't have any money in my ChainEDGE wallet. Oh, that's pain.
Well, not an endorsement of any kind, but if you are watching the stream right now, something just launched called Whiff Pepe Mog Enu, and price going up.
It's at a pretty good. It's usually when I mean, we can just keep talking. I don't know. It's whatever.
I have nowhere to be. I just, people have lives outside of these things. I don't know. I guess they have lives.
Usually when I see a new launch and I see a lot of dollar signs next to it, it perks my ears up, because that means these traders, like this trader has a 600k P&L. If I filter P&L by 500k, decent amount of pings here, but on the 500k or more P&L crew. Right?
Let's see. And I see sells occurring, so we know they can sell it in profit. That's always a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, that's $9,000 bought into this. It's got all the good names in it. Oh, it's an 800k market cap now. So
it is. Yeah. I've been relying more and more recently, like when I see tokens pop up on the Alpha stream or by the alerts, as a faster way to find out whether it's a like a honeypot or not, is like, have the ChainEDGE wallets been selling in profit?
Yeah, I always look for that.
It's way quicker than going the other route. Like, okay, they just sold it a second ago. I can probably still sell this. It's little things like that, because yes, you go through all the token scanner routes and everything like that, but those are all time consuming, and sometimes it's just like too much information. and you sit there sort of with information overload, whereas it's like, okay, I can see that they're selling, I can see that they're able to sell. It looks like it wants to send, I'm going to be honest.
Yes, yeah, it does. I actually was, while you were talking, I was buying some.
Oh, there you go.
Just a taster. What are the taxes on this thing?
I'm going to check right now. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
All right. I'm just chilling. For anyone that's still in the chat, feel free to ask any other questions. There's a few of you still in here. Why? I want that. Ooh, market cap and alpha stream? I guess we could. I've thought about that because you really don't need to see the other side of the swap. So it could just be buy and do you have a YouTube channel? Yeah, so for this, the YouTube channel is at the Daily Edge. It should be in the show notes. But if it's not, you're coming from Twitter. We'll post it if not. How often do you trade brand new pairs memes? Do you find it EV positive? Oof, I trade both. Because I have a tendency to just always be wanting to do something, and that is very bad for your long-term bags. So I tried to do both. So I'll hold a basket of core positions in things that I think can go up over, it's not going to take, it's weeks or maybe a month. And then to stop me from watching the prices of those coins and just let them go up, because if it's any good, it will. I trade all of the new launches, any of them that are good. So I do both.
Are you already at 2x on that buy?
I don't think I got in. I didn't get in at 500K, I don't think.
It certainly looks like it wants to run. It's printing higher highs, which is my
I'm definitely up though.
Leave it to a Friday night for a meme of memes to launch on Ethereum. It's sending. Oh my god, this thing is running.
I definitely got some.
Some selling going there. To be expected though.
I don't really know what's going on.
Oh, that got eaten right up.
I should have bought more.
Is it at 1.6 now? Oh my goodness. Oh,
it just got.
It's gonna do that though. It's gonna do that. People have got their limit orders on it. It sells.
I didn't even look at the distribution. Is it?
Oh, let's take a look. Holders. There's a 5%, but I don't even know what that is. That could be.
That one's not the liquidity.
No, the liquidity is a 6% on Uniswap. Yeah, there we go. Pull the chart. Pull the live chart up though, so people can see it.
Oh.
Also, I know we have the deck screener tab there. I think we need to just have it as a clickable open new window tab.
100%.
Buddy's got it on the 1 second chart. My.
For some reason, I feel like it loads a little bit slower. I don't know. Sometimes I like it on the 1 second chart. Gotta quickly see what my entry was on
you
this.
go
I bought pretty high.
Supreme degen. You want the 1 second.
Yeah, I actually bought this okay. I mean, if I would have bought it right when you mentioned it, I'd be up more. But
well, we were too busy enjoying the conversation and not sitting eyes glued to the alpha stream. Because when did it first pop up? It looks like it popped up 18 minutes ago, at least on mine. I mean, I've got my filters pretty high threshold for the alpha stream.
Bro, I guarantee, based on those filters I ran through the alpha stream, I guarantee it triggered my alert. Yeah, 15 minutes ago.
So the entry would have been even sweeter. See what we do for you guys here? We want to give to the community and provide alpha. We're missing opportunities, but you know what? That's okay, because these things literally happen every day. I used to get FOMO, or like I get upset at myself if I miss an opportunity, but then you just realize there's always an opportunity around the next, what is it, 12 seconds per block, Ethereum block times, 12 seconds, something like that. There's always another opportunity around the next
always
block.
Another coin.
They literally cannot run out of coins to create.
Trying to find my, it might not let me share my, I was going to share my alert, but I don't think, I can't share my Telegram screen. I'd have to open Telegram via web. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Well, these are all hiccups. We'll figure them out for next time.
Yeah.
I think anyone that's been watching, if anyone that's been watching, be sure to leave comments and let us know what you've enjoyed about the show, anything you'd like to see more of, anything that you found was just absolutely horrible, like just talked a bunch of nonsense. I mean, anything you guys want to tell us in the comments, let us know. Obviously, like, subscribe, all that stuff that, you know, people have to say at these things to remind people. It feels so weird saying all that stuff. I'm just not used to it. By the way, this is my very first live stream. I know Onchain has done them quite a bit for ChainEDGE, but this is my inaugural stream, and I will constantly work to improve and get better at them, but I feel like we've done okay.
It's good.
What do you think this is going to end up at? How high do you think this is going to go right now? It's looking pretty good.
Yeah, so 1.7 million of volume in 20 minutes is kind of an anomaly. So
well, we're still seeing buys come in, even like usually by now the snipers tend to taper off. There you keep coming in. My entire alpha stream is with Pepe Monk.
I think it goes a lot higher. One, the liquidity's locked, so that's shouldn't go to zero.
And it's at 10%, which is a good ratio.
It also has no taxes, so if it was it's not a tax farm.
Yeah.
And then 3, I watch the volume. One of the ways I always can tell if something's going to be good or not is the immediate volume. Like if you ape a new launch that's been 20 minutes and it's like 50K or less, the odds of it going very high are so low because there's just no attention on it. They either had no pre-launch hype or they have no hype now. Now, obviously that can change and someone can come in and bring hype to it, but 1.7 million of volume in 22 minutes is the opposite of that. That is very good.
I mean, my view on volume is volume equals attention equals momentum.
Yeah.
Because for guys that are sitting trading on chain as they're living, all they're doing is seeking volume. It's the name of the game. Now it's interesting. It's a no tax token, but if I'm looking at the contract on Quickie, it says they've collected 43 ETH in taxes somehow.
I'm even looking at my swap. There's no. Oh, I guarantee they tax the snipers.
Probably.
I can actually. Let me go
Let's
back to the first buy.
Ownership, remove limits. So there was a limit. There was an open trading. I don't see any tax changes.
So I'm at the first. Here are the snipers right in the beginning. Yeah, they got taxed. I can see it. Like 20% or so.
So apparently, do you remember Titcoin that launched recently?
Yeah.
Apparently it's a similar contract to that. I don't know how that one ended up faring in the long run. Also Feather, I feel like that was fairly recent. So they're using a contract that's been used quite a bit recently.
I don't think Feather rugged, so that's something.
It's a good sign. Huh? X dating, I feel like I saw that recently.
Yeah, the holder distribution is decent. Top 10, 21%. Yeah, this looks good. Yeah, and the taxes collected, that was just from the beginning. Oh yeah, it's getting smoked
there's
now.
A bit of a sales. There's some sales, but it's getting bought back up. Limit orders on it. I mean, when there's that much volume, there's limit orders that are being set.
Yeah, you can see them ping it. That's kind of... well, got nothing else to talk about. No one's really asking any more questions, so I guess we can just
let's leave on a high note. We just live on stream sort of caught glimpses of the workflow of seeing something, but it keeps buys just keep popping in on the alpha stream.
Yeah, that's... what's the P&L look like of the wallets that are buying it?
The most recent one on my stream was 320K.
Yeah, I just do it by dollars. 3 or more is usually pretty good. I think that's like 200K. Because sometimes you'll see tokens where actually the $3 and $4 signs are selling and the $2 and $1 signs are buying. So that's why
it's a rotation. I mean, there's some.
Well, it's not a rotation. It's a change of money from.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, from the smarter. Oh, dude, this has done a lot of. That's 105K of smart money buys in the first 25 minutes, which is also kind of an anomaly.
Yeah. Well, look at some of their buys. 6K buys, 3K. Like for a brand new launch token, that's a meme. That's.
Yeah, usually when I see stuff like this, it screams there's better information in somebody else's hands about this. So like people either knew about it or they know someone that's like in the community or the dev is trusted. Those little kind of things come through in the volume.
It's data. A Beeple tweet. It was a Beeple tweet.
Oh, never mind. So that's it.
He did a drawing of it 30 minutes ago with Pepe Mogging. So see, you can still find alpha on Twitter. There's still alpha to be found on Twitter. That's wild. Oh, and 3 minutes ago there was an ENS registered.
Meme coin armies assemble with Pepe Mog Inu with the dollar ticker? Are you kidding me?
Sometimes it really is that easy. It'll be interesting to see, given that we're now in a more bullish environment, what a tweet from someone like that, what kind of staying power that affects the price action.
Yeah,
because about like 6 months ago, anything Elon tweeted was a banger, and then that just sort of tapered off, and now he can barely, get a quick half an hour pump and dump out of something.
Yeah, most of them go straight to zero, unless it's a new product. But even he announced X Payments token, straight to zero.
Yeah, it didn't do great.
In my like framework was, oh, if it's a X product, it'll pump like Grok did. Nope, it doesn't work anymore. Same thing with Xmail. I don't think Xmail has done that well either.
No, it was very short-lived.
Yeah, Xmail looks. I mean, it still has volume, so maybe it's not going to totally be dead.
Well, I think on that note, that was a really great way to end the stream with some live action occurring on the stream. Everyone, once again, my name is 0xRapture, at Rapture on Twitter. Or sorry, I'm at Night the Rapture. Is that what I go by? I've been drinking tequila. What do I go by?
Yeah, it's at Night the Rapture.
That's the one. I have been drinking tequila this whole time.
I mean, it is a Friday night.
It is a Friday night, and I don't drink that often anymore as I get older, so I'm sitting pretty nice right now. Everyone, thank you for joining us on the stream. They're only going to get better from here, but I think we've had a great time. We've dropped a lot of inside information and knowledge, some insights from OCW and some of our experiences in the trenches.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think we'll eventually do ones that are even more. I've always wanted to do some that are just like actually like live stream. I've seen some really DJ people live stream their trading. I've always wanted to do one of those eventually too, but we'll see if that makes sense within probably not within this exact show, but
not within this show, but we could just have this super DJ hour where it's just like we're glued to the Alpha stream, we're glued to Dex Screener, we've got our terminal open, we've got ETH to Ape, let's just go for it.
Yeah, we could we'll say 1 hour live stream, and it's just we'll both have our screens, and it'll just be like a little contest who does better in the hour. That would be good stuff on the right day.
Got to get a bunch of Zens.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, my friend. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed this.
100%. I mean, it's been packed with alpha, so whoever's listening is probably going to learn something, or at least chuckle.
Hopefully. Hopefully it wasn't a complete waste of time for you all, but thank you very much for joining us. This has been The Daily Edge, presenting to you Edge Maxing, brought to you by ChainEDGE. Full disclosure, we both represent The Daily Edge and ChainEDGE.
Yep, thank you. All right, that'll do it. See you guys all on the next one next week or something.
Next week, 100%. No slacking. Next week, 100%. Thanks, everyone.